Hello and Assalamu alaikum Radio Fam. I'm your host and RJ Fahad, and I'm on a very special episode today. An episode where we will be deep diving into the world of education, consulting, with the one and only Gohata Global. As students, most of us may have already dreamt of studying abroad. मैंने भी किया था. And for either for postgrad or undergrad. But to make this dream our reality, we have one of their founders, Sir Ali. And nice to be on the show with you. How are you?
Well, that's too soon to say that part, but I'm all good. Thank you very much for asking, and thank you very much for having me. And I look forward to today's episode.
Same here. So let's start with the name Gohata. A very unique name for an education consultancy. What's the story behind it?
Well, you're not the first one to ask the background of Gohata name. The name Gohata, it originates from emotions. So this company was started by Professor Zulfikar, who also happens to be my father. So like any father, if you don't, think of a suitable name, you pick up your kids, you have their initials, and you make up a name.
Definitely.
So Gohata is the initials of three of the brothers that we are: Gohar, Go, Hamza, Ha, Talha, Ta. So it's Gohata.
That's a very beautiful story, in fact, and it's very thought out. So, and before we dive into Gohata, let's talk about you. What's your education and background, and how did you come about to this educational field?
My education, I had my A levels from LGS with majors in business, accounting, and economics. After that, I chose accounting as my professional qualification, did my ACCA, then went on to having my master's in MBA, oil and gas management. Then again went on to having another master's on top of that with the international business, focusing on the advanced research aspect, carrying blockchain technology.
Great, very. It's a huge line of degrees.
I think that's what I've earned.
I'll love to touch upon the fact that we mentioned earlier today. You started your undergrad journey when you were only 17.
Yes, I did.
What was that about? How did you get the permission from the parents and, go around about it?
A good thing about me is that I don't remember my past too much. But if I can recall, like any teenager, I was rebellious. I was adamant to be out of the influence of my parents, and I was very much adamant on making the decisions on my own, and did not want anyone to interrupt in my life. So that decision of फरार इख्तियार करना, इसको मैं कहूँगा, इसका एजुकेशन से कम ताल्लुक़ था, इसका स्टडिंग अब्रॉड से कम ताल्लुक़ था, इसका घर से दूर जाने से ज़्यादा ताल्लुक़ था. So that's where the motivation came in. And my father, because he also used to teach in London, so he had connections over there. So he did not इतना उन्होंने इसको agitate नहीं किया, ये रोका नहीं मुझे. He let me go.
Beautiful. And what's one thing that you learned in London while you're doing your undergrad?
One thing that London helped me become:
Yes.
never rely on anyone. As soon as you rely on someone, things are delayed, things are cancelled, or things are not as good as they are supposed to.
That is very true. Rightly said. We really should be independent in our own matters too. And उसके अलावा कि tell us about the mentorship. Obviously, building Gohata, an educational firm itself. Did someone guide you? And how has that shaped the way that you lead an organization itself? Okay, it's a very different business altogether. Most of them, when you think of a startup, you're thinking about tech, you're thinking about some product that you want to launch. This is a unique form of business, education consultancy, and something that is relatively newer to Pakistan, I believe, too. So how did you came about Gohata? Why education? Why not something else?
See, when I started, as I told that by profession I am an accountant. By profession I am a business analyst. So I never planned on taking over this field. But I think it has a lot to do with the influence of my father. He has been a professor. So I've seen all my life people coming to him for advice. students coming to him for advice, parents coming to him for advice, and the level of respect that he gathered, the level of self satisfaction that he achieved by guiding the young souls, or guiding them through whatever the career pathways was that they wanted to have. तो उसमें शुरू से घर के माहौल से और पेरेंट्स के प्रोफेशन से इसमें जो इज़्ज़त थी वो एक डोमिनेटिंग फैक्टर था. एंड दूसरे ऑन द अदर हैंड इट हैज़ एवरीथिंग टू डू विद द फैक्ट कि आई लेफ्ट होम व्हेन आई वाज 17, राइट? Or if I were to name my autobiography, so I'll be naming it as, passport full and pockets empty. That's what I've spent so much money on my education, earned it myself. So वो एक एस्पेक्ट कि जहाँ पे मुझे हमेशा लगता है कि आई माइट हैव स्टार्टेड बेटर इफ आई वाज काउंसल्ड बेटर.
Right.
That feeling never fades away. Even if today I recall that experience of leaving for my ACCA and getting counsel from an education consultant, I think that was the worst part of my journey, where my planning lacked,
Hmm.
and because only there was no proper guidance available. When you combine that with something that you've seen your father doing, वहाँ से ये एक प्रोफेशन आया और it paid well.
That's a very niche gap that you've chosen, and a pretty right one for the right time. You're really right. When it comes to consulting, us students do face that there's a huge gap that exists in the market in terms of knowledge, the application process, and whether to go outside or not. Anyways, we'll touch upon that later in the conversation. So, Gohata was founded back in 2019, and it only started off with a small team of 10 individuals. Right now, mashallah, so you're up by 50 experts in Lahore, and that's a great fetch for a very short time. So, starting something from scratch is never easy. What were those early days like? Some obstacle that you faced and that made you doubt your success, maybe?
But yeah, this is something that comes to us very naturally. As I've already mentioned, I left my home at 17.
Right.
Okay. I did my ACCA from Anglia Ruskin. I did my master's MBA in oil and gas management. I did another master's just to survive being in the UK, because at that time uh, work permits nahi hote the. That's other legalities. Let's not go there. But yes, I've survived a lot of degrees over there. Or if I look back onto my journey, I can be a perfect example of whatever can happen to an international student. ठीक है, I've failed my subjects, I've topped my subjects, I have extended my visas, I have curtailed my visas, I have had issues with my supervisors, I have had appreciations from my supervisors. So whatever the scenario that an international student can face, I've faced that. So when Gohata was started in 2019, or reinstated, I would say, in 2019, it all came to us very naturally. It was very easy for us to guide students. It was very naturally inclining for us to guide them with the things that other people in the market did not know, because they've never been to the UK or they've never been to any other foreign destination for their studies. So counseling the students, telling them what to do and what not to do, telling them, planning their studies, even with the tiniest of the details, that was not an issue for us. And I learned that the hard way, investing thousands of pounds into my studies, giving 7-8 years of my life to international studies.
It's a long year.
It actually is. So when we started Gohata, we were actually at par.
Hmm.
And if we combine that with our values at Gohata, so I don't think that anyone who has ever sat across me over the desk and I've counseled him, he has said no to us. Our connections and emotions with the students They are at par. They are something that we take proud in. And I truly believe that everyone at Gohata, if you'll sit across them, अगर आप बैठेंगे, बात करेंगे, अपने मसले डिस्कस करेंगे, अपनी प्रेफरेंसेस डिस्कस करेंगे, you will leave the premises satisfied.
Right. I'm glad I'm sharing the stage with someone who is very experienced in this regard and जो काउंसलिंग फर्म में लोगों को फ़ायदा पहुंचा रहे हैं इस लिहाज पे, नॉट ओनली द अदर पार्ट बट ज़्यादातर लोगों को नॉलेज अवेल हो रही है, जो कि गैप एग्जिस्ट करता है, जैसे मैंने बात की पहले. तो व्हेन इट कम्स टू स्टूडेंट्स, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स हु मेक और आर प्लानिंग टू परस्यू अ डिग्री अब्रॉड, they're quite confused whether they should go for this career path or whether they should do something else, right? And or the other option is also to stay in Pakistan at the same time. अच्छा, current लिहाज से बात करें, do you think the international degree does add value to you in compared to Pakistan, considering that you're also spending a huge amount of money too? What's one difference I would say that would shape you up compared to international degree versus a local Pakistani from the top institutes? Let's take that.
I have a very unorthodox view about it. Okay, and when I talk about thinking differently, that's not actually different. That's speaking practically, the practicalities of international education.
Right.
Uh, we at Gohata, we have a mindset of keeping students first. Okay? We don't care what it ends up with. And it has happened sometimes that student they did choose not to go with us because we were very much blunt and straightforward with them. तो जो जब भी बात होगी ना इस चीज़ की कि इंटरनेशनल एजुकेशन इज इट वर्थ इट,
Yes.
it is a long debate, but to sum it up I would say कि only the student has the responsibility कि वो अपने लिए अच्छा सोचे,
बिल्कुल.
and the counselor has the shared responsibility of telling him कि क्या उसके लिए ठीक है और क्या नहीं, regardless of the fact कि यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में कहाँ आप कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में अप्लाई करना है, कैसे अप्लाई करना है, फंड्स कितने हैं, करियर पाथ पे कौन सा है. It is students' responsibility to make a well-informed and well-researched decision.
Definitely.
At the end of the day, I don't know, maybe I'm fetching it a bit far, but at the end of the day, international students are seen as money bags by the universities.
Yes.
If you talk about universities earning capacity, तो लोकल स्टूडेंट से तो वो अर्न नहीं करते. ठीक है, एजुकेशन इज़ फ्री इन यूरोप, यूके, अमेरिका, इफ नॉट फ्री, लोन्स आर अवेलेबल. सो द लोकल स्टूडेंट्स आर नॉट अ सोर्स ऑफ इनकम फॉर द यूनिवर्सिटीज़. Wherever the universities are focusing on international students, that's not happening out of the goodness of their heart. That's not happening out of that social corporate responsibility. They are not interested in guiding or teaching or preparing the international students. They want students so that they can have loads and loads of money. Okay? So it is students and counselors' collective responsibility to know and get their money's worth. Don't fall for the trap of rankings. Do not fall for the trap of discounts. Do not fall for the trap of consultants. Do not fall for the trap of making mediocre decisions. Do not fall for the trap of making hasty decisions or running into a decision. Hamesha, if I can use the word ke what's the right word that I'm looking for? खुद गर्ज. ठीक है, खुद गर्ज हो के स्टूडेंट को अपना फ़ायदा और अपना डिसीजन लेना चाहिए, रिगार्डलेस. सुने सब ठीक है, काउंसलर्स इज़ देयर टू गाइड यू, टू प्रोवाइड यू द इंफॉर्मेशन, बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे जो मैं इस जवाब में बार बार कहता आ रहा हूँ कि इट इज़ स्टूडेंट्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कि सेल्फिश हो के, खुद गर्ज हो के, जो सर्कमस्टांसेस उसको सूट करते हैं, जो बजट उसको सूट करता है, जो सिटी कंट्री उसको सूट करता है, वो वही चूज़ करे. and try to make the best of that.
आई थिंक यू वेरी राइटली सेड अबाउट दिस। और आपने जैसे बात किया यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के ऊपर कि मोस्ट ऑफ देम और आर कंसिडर्ड जस्ट टू बी अ माफिया फॉर इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स टू, क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली लोकल तो वो चार्ज नहीं कर रहे उस तरीके से, बट इंटरनेशनल स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स आर द वंस वेयर दे एक्चुअली मेक द प्रॉफिट आउट ऑफ इट। इसमें मेरे कुछ दोस्त हैं, व्हेन वी वर ऑब्वियसली अप्लाइंग टू अंडर ग्रेड, मैनी ऑफ देम अप्लाइड अब्रॉड, और जब एक्सेप्टेंस आई बेशक इट वॉज अ लो टियर यूनिवर्सिटी, they just went for it without considering some better options that could have been available to them in Pakistan or some other country maybe. तो I would say कि just like Ali has said कि you should be खुद गर्ज। ये ना सोचो कि यार मैं बस बाहर जा रहा हूँ एक्सपीरियंस लेने। यू हैव टू सी इफ़ इट्स रियली राइट फॉर यू, राइट फिट फॉर यू, क्योंकि बाहर जाने की ऑब्वियसली अलग कॉम्प्लिकेशंस आती हैं, लाइक यू सेड कि उधर इंडिपेंडेंस एंड इट्स अ सेपरेट चैलेंज ऑफ इट सेल्फ। तो जस्ट डोंट गो फॉर इट जस्ट फॉर गोइंग फॉर इट। तो moving on to my next question, so obviously there are many students who come to you at Gohata. What's one of the biggest misconceptions they have regarding studying abroad, and how do you work upon changing this narrative?
Biggest misconception of studying abroad is that the day you leave Pakistan is the day you have made it.
Right.
What I've seen in students, okay, the day their visa arrives, or the day they secure their admission, or the day they are catching the flight, they are overwhelmed with the emotions. Okay, we're finally leaving Pakistan and we are out of the blue. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You're actually starting a struggle that will drain you to the last drop of your blood. ठीक है. Misconception यही है कि जब आपने the moment you decided to pursue studies as an international student, it is a very hard road. ठीक है. That will require your finances, that will require your emotional balance, that will require your IQ balance, that will require tireless working hours away from your parents, away from your home, away from the comfort that you can actually, at the end of the day, go back to your home and feel secure.
Definitely.
So the biggest misconception is, I would say, कि just going for the sake of it, and knowing that, you know, have flying to XYZ country is like that you've made it.
You're very
There's there's a whole new chapter waiting for you to bombard you, to make you feel depressed, to make you feel tired, to make you feel broken, to make you feel overwhelmed. And if you don't plan those emotions during your counseling process,
Yes.
the next 1 year is very hard for you.
So it's not only the application or the acceptance; it's the whole journey towards it. I'm surprised. Yes.
The counseling, the applications, the university selection is actually done so that you can feel comfortable when you are there,
Yes.
and not just for the sake कि आपने पाकिस्तान से एग्जिट ले लिया.
True.
ठीक है. For example, I'll give you an example. When we counsel students or when we plan it, I have not seen anyone discussing the degree titles, कि हमें क्या डिग्रीज, कौन सी डिग्रीज चूज़ करनी चाहिए. आई हैव नॉट सीन एनी वन डिस्कसिंग के इलेक्टिव मॉड्यूल्स कौन से होंगे. आई हैव नॉट सीन डिस्कसिंग कि क्या मैं जो डिग्री ले रहा हूँ, जो मैंने डिग्री चूज़ की है, इसके प्रोफेशनल स्कोप क्या है इसका उस कंट्री में जहाँ मैं जा रहा हूँ. ठीक है. आई हैव नॉट सीन पीपल डिस्कसिंग के जो डिग्री मैंने चूज़ की है, क्या ये उस कंट्री के शॉर्टेज ऑक्यूपेशन लिस्ट में आती है, जिससे इवेंचुअली उसको पीआर या फर्दर वर्क वीज़ाज एक्वायर करने में आसानी होगी. आई हैव नॉट सीन स्टूडेंट्स, यू नो, डिस्कसिंग के इफ़ आई एम चूजिंग अ यूनिवर्सिटी, इज़ इट इन अ रिमोट एरिया, इज़ इट इन अ विलेज, इज़ इट इन अ कंट्री साइड, और इज़ इट इन अ मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी. इट मेक्स और ब्रेक्स योर एक्सपीरियंस. ठीक है. ये वो सारे छोटे 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 डिसीजंस हैं. व्हेन इंडिविजुअली डिस्कसिंग आपको लगता है कि ये कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं डालेंगे, बट व्हेन यू look at them in totality and when you're actually there, these decisions, if made right at counseling stage, will make your journey of studying abroad much not easier, organized.
Right.
ठीक है. तो चोट तो लगेगी, चोट लगनी इज एविडेंट, बट उस चोट को फील कितना करना है या उसमें सर्वाइव कैसे करना है उसकी प्लानिंग की जा सकती है.
These are some very interesting insights that's even new to me. The emotional journey that you take along at Gohata before sending the student off to their respective country for further studies. But as a counselor, you're brutally honest too. ये जो आपने सामने lay out कर दिया, क्योंकि usually at other in my experience, my consultants I've been to, they usually sell you this American dream, the big dream, you're gonna make it. Once you make it, you are the best on top of the world. So, guys, this is the harsh reality, the behind the scenes, the BTS, which you call it. It's not only securing the mission, but how to survive it. So, that's was something new for me. Thank you for that. But when it comes to application itself, right? Many students think that they need a perfect GPA to study abroad. In your experience, does GPA matter? If so, how to what extent?
देखिए, if you're talking about from the perspective of studying abroad,
Yeah.
GPA definitely matters. ठीक है, because that is the basic criteria to aim for the scholarships and discounts.
Right.
Okay, if unless your father has a buttload of money and you don't care about spendings, I still believe that अगर GPA नहीं है तो you can't knock that door of financial ease या financial efficiency. CGPA will always make you enter that room where you can discuss your scholarships with the university and you can bring your fee down or you can have extra perks. But if you don't have a CGPA, the other factors are irrelevant.
Okay.
Yeah. So CGPA comes as a base,
Right.
and then there's other factors of CVs and your internships and your extracurriculars and your essay, how good is it, and these things are on the top of the basis of that CGPA. So I would say it definitely matters.
Okay, and is there any particular preference to certain extracurricular activities given to by universities,
uh,
or do they want you to be diverse?
No, as far as the scholarship applications
Yeah.
are concerned, or the financial, uh, what do you call it? The financial FIDA is concerned,
जी.
the universities, they actually want to see your personal journey,
ठीक है.
how you've survived or how you've tackled things, and then how charged are you to give it back to the society once you're done with your degree
Right.
and you get back to your profession. Is it, are you self-centered, or you do have that nerve in you, you have that bone in you that you actually want to make a difference to the society and give it back to them? That is when the university takes you, they take you seriously, and they do grant financial aids.
Right, right. क्योंकि अक्सर in our circumstance we have seen students, many of the friends, कि कोई वॉलंटियरिंग वर्क आती है, रिगार्डलेस और नॉट उनके फर्दर डिग्री के साथ मैच करता है या नहीं करता, विच दे अबाउट टू परस्यू और एमिंग टू परस्यू, दे टेक इट अपॉन दम सेल्फ जस्ट के उनकी प्रोफाइल बिल्ड हो जाए, डाइवर्स हो जाए. लेट्स सपोज इफ आई एम समवन हु स्टडिंग अ बिजनेस डिग्री, राइट? Volunteering work would definitely help me in some circumstances, but majority of the sunk that I should do should be regarding some startups, yeah, adventures that I have taken, showcasing my risk taking ability, rather than doing a horse riding, joining the horse riding club, knowing how to ride a horse or playing polo. Is that true?
No, it's not like that. I'll give you an example. Okay, let's say कि you have an application,
जी.
ठीक है, for a scholarship, और वो जाती है कोर्स डायरेक्टर के पास. Normally they decide the applications or decisions on your scholarship. You've mentioned in your CV that you have been an athlete
जी.
in your college or at your school level, ठीक है. Being an athlete, what that this is my perception, ठीक है, when we go to the university trainings and that what we are told that they want to see in the application. अगर मुझे एक बच्चे की CV में एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर्स में उसका एथलीट होना मेंशन किया गया है, इट मीन्स कि वो एक नॉर्मल बच्चे की नस्बत सुबह 4 बजे उठ के रनिंग के लिए जाता था,
ठीक है.
वो जिम जाता था,
जी.
वो अपनी पढ़ाई के साथ एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर को मैनेज करता था,
Right.
which means that he's more disciplined,
Okay.
he's more hungry, he's more physically fit, right? So
Right.
that makes him stand out over a student that did not go or had any physical activity.
Understood.
ठीक है? Did you get your
I
answer?
get it. I get it.
Okay, whatever you do is a way of it's a way of telling the person who you have been all your life.
Right.
ठीक है, उसमें आपकी एकेडमिक्स एक पार्ट है, आपकी एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक पार्ट है, आपकी इमोशनल क्वेश्चन एक पार्ट है, द वे यू वांट टू टेक योर करियर फॉरवर्ड एक पार्ट है, द वे यू फील टुवर्ड्स द सोसाइटी एक पार्ट है, एंड स्कॉलरशिप्स आर गेन इन टोटलिटी. कोई भी एक स्टैंडिंग आउट फैक्टर नहीं होता.
Right. So, if you walk me through the applications, other than the essay and the extracurriculars, what other aspects are usually considered when Gohata makes the application?
See, we take a lot of time understanding the student,
Okay.
where he or she's coming from, what he wants to achieve, and a lot of time is spent while drafting their essays,
Right.
because they are the reflection of what they are, who they are, and what makes them stand out. So if you talk about the process, operational things, they don't matter, like launch karna ya portals ko handle karna ya communicate karna. The most standing out factor that makes a difference to the scholarship amounts or the scholarship application is their personal essays.
Understood. ठीक है. And coming on to the finances, when you were starting a university, obviously that's the biggest chunk of it. And that is something that often holds the students back. So, would you say someone who's assumes studying abroad is only for the wealthy? Is that true?
No, it is necessarily doesn't have to be. uh, there's nothing wrong in being wealthy, obviously.
Right.
Okay, but studying abroad, there are like what, more than 100 countries in the world, right?
Yes.
And for scholarship, if you don't have money, you do have grades,
Yes.
that's fine, right? And we can always cater to students' needs, even if they are financially drained, but they are intellectually standing out. So there are countries who actually offers those scholarships. We make them target those scholarships, and they can always go.
Right. So that's a myth they busted. And according to you, according to a professional counselor, an expert, what's the ideal time to start your application when you are in undergraduation or in OA
It
levels?
really varies from country to country. If you're talking about the scholarship applications or the European or Schengen countries, you should start as early as possible, at least a year and a half
Okay.
before you are
Signing
targeting
up.
the intake. Okay? For America, for USA, it's also, if you need to start, if your scholarships are involved, at least 10 to 12, 15 months. If you are a self-funded student, which means that you have money,
Right.
it's fine. 4, 5, 6 months is fine. It's more than enough the time to cater the applications. If it's UK, it can be achieved in 2 months. If it's Australia, it's 4 to 5 months, 6 months. So it really depends on what country you've chosen to be at and what the process is.
Well, you've brilliantly mapped out all the countries by the requirements. That's some work. And is there something that guarantees an admission to a student?
Yes,
What would that be?
money.
The big question, $1 million question. Oh, that is true, unfortunately. But yes, but you can still apply for funding and scholarships. And in most cases, what's the percentage of likely getting a full ride?
See, that's where Gohata stands out. I mean, we don't honk everyone with the same stick.
Right.
And if you'll ever see the length of our counseling sessions, that's unbelievable. At our average counseling session at Gohata is about 1 to 1.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Is where I do believe that no other company would do that.
Right.
So we sit down with the student, we become a student with them, we plan it according to their needs or wants, we identify what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, where we need to take over the process and where we need we just let them be themselves. So all of this value system that we bring through Gohata, it has actually helped a lot of students, Fahad. You know, and nothing makes me more happier. I know it sounds cliche, but it actually is. I've cried a few times when I have received a call from our ex-students, that finally I have made it. I have cracked that interview, or I have got the job that would secure me the PR, and I don't, I'm not really, and we have actually received calls, an apology call.
अच्छा.
A student of mine, जिसके साथ we actually मैं थोड़ा लड़ पड़ा while we were choosing the course. ठीक है. So he was adamant that he wants to go for the project management, and he because he did his BScs from FAST, and that's all he knew. इसमें वो गलत नहीं था. That's all he knew कि once you're done with BScs and you are couple of years into the uh, job in industry, so project management is what that will take you further. But what we told him, that you're leaving Pakistan, so you're not supposed to think with the Pakistani binoculars. You need to take off your Pakistani chashme and leave it back, and think about the country that you're going to, right? वहाँ पे choosing MSc cyber security would have made him the part of chartered occupation list, जिसकी वजह से उसके पॉइंट्स बेस्ड सिस्टम में उसको फ़ायदा हुआ PR एप्लीकेशन स्टेज पे. और उसके साथ के जो फ्रेंड्स थे जो प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट में थे, दे वर लैकिंग द पॉइंट्स टू अप्लाई फॉर द PR, एंड ही एक्चुअली वेरी स्विफ्टली सिक्योर्ड द जॉब एज वेल, क्योंकि उस कंट्री में वहाँ उसका जॉब पूल काफ़ी बड़ा था. उसमें वो शॉर्टेज ऑक्यूपेशन में आती थी, एंड एम्प्लॉयर दे एक्चुअली वांटेड दैट स्किल. 2 years down the line, I receive a call कि Ali bhai, I remember we fought on that. I want to apologize. You did the right thing, and I'm very happy that मैंने वो बात मान ली.
I'm really impressed at the moment. Very touching story. At the same time, I'm glad कि you have not only put the students in university by itself. अक्सर बाद में लोग जाते हैं वो PR के लिए ही जाते हैं.
हाँ, it is.
You have guided them towards that step too. What else would you need?
Why I'm saying that the planning stage matters a lot. It is not that you're only going there for masters. It is that you're investing the money to make or break your life. Okay? And that decision of choosing your course, being it in the shortage occupation list, making it to the PR, it all depends on your decisions when you were actually planning studying abroad.
Right. We really need to expand the horizons. And well, there are many other counseling firms in the market too. Many of your competitors and some of your colleagues maybe, and they sometimes charge an enormous amount. मुझे जो पर्सनल कोट मिला था that was around 2 million, 2.5 million.
Because I know these kind of amounts, I've heard them, so I'm not surprised.
Right. तो इसमें do you think it's fair to charge the students this much? Is it really worth it? Just for the application process.
I'd say that if the student has got the money, does that make it fair to charge them?
Well, if he has, then I don't think.
No, it doesn't, Fahad. It doesn't. See, the thing is that, if I'm counseling,
Right.
so I do that thing more often than you, right? You'll be doing that once in your lifetime for your own self. I do it for hundreds of students, right? So I'm skilled at that, right? It has become easier for me to make you go through that whole process. So it only depends on my value or my greed, that how much I want to drain Fahad out of that. My process is same for every student, right? When it comes to scholarship applications. So if I feel like that, Fahad can pay 2.53 million, and I ask for 2.35 million,
That's unfair.
that is unfair. That is being greedy, and that is that's below the belt. Okay? So you don't actually have to pay these insane kind of amounts, because at the end of the day मुझे ये बताएं कि scholarship application अगर launch की जा रही है, तो वो किसकी basis पे है? it was you who got the good grades.
Right.
It was you who built the CV. It was you who built the profile, right? It was your parents who invested in your education, and the counselor is just here to guide you and pull up that information and channelize it, right?
Definitely.
So for that, charging 2, 3, 4 million, it's not justified.
That clears out the mist around it. Well, studying abroad does sound exciting. We all know that, but obviously come with its challenges. What's one thing that you wish every student would know before they started going with any firm for a counseling session or the application itself?
Always, try to stick with one company,
Right.
invest your time with them, and whatever you're told at a counseling session, always cross verify that. Do go back to home, do your own research, and come back with questions. That will only do good for you. And if you'll ask questions, answers will be there.
बिल्कुल सही बोले आपने. And currently in 2025, what countries or programs are very popular in your case and why?
I see that's actually a very important question. I've seen a lot of students, जो कि एक unnecessary जिद में आ जाते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
ठीक है. So unfortunately or unfortunately, we're born in Pakistan, right? With a green passport,
Yes.
which is the third weakest, I guess, or fourth weakest passport in the world. So when deciding to study abroad, you need to understand that securing an admission, securing a scholarship is one thing,
Right.
and then actually securing a visa and traveling to that country to study is a completely different chapter. ठीक है? So when deciding where to study, always see कि आप जिस country को target कर रहे हो उसके visa trends क्या हैं. If the visa rejection rate is above 95%, 90% for that country, तो I'll say कि ये एक बेवकूफ़ी होगी कि हम उस country पे time invest करें. ठीक है? क्योंकि at the end of the day, एक student का I think time सबसे ज़्यादा important factor है, right? You spend 6, 7, 8 months into this process, and if at the end of the day the decision is no, or the decision is in the form of refusal, you'll have to start all over again. You'll have to invest all over again,
Rightly said.
right? So your destinations to study cannot be without accounting for the visa problem for Pakistanis. And having said that, for now, uh, UK is a good option. USA is a good option. A couple of countries in Schengen, like Hungary or the Netherlands, they are the good options for Pakistanis. And although you can always apply, ठीक है, बट जैसे मैंने कहा कि अगर एक कंट्री का डेमोक्रेटिक लेवल, डिप्लोमेटिक लेवल पे ये डिसीजन ही नहीं है कि हमने पाकिस्तानीज़ को वीज़ाज देने हैं या वी नीड टू कर्टेल ऑन द नंबर ऑफ पाकिस्तानीज एंटरिंग आवर कंट्री, तो उसका कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है हाउ गुड और बैड योर प्रोफाइल वाज.
Right.
ठीक है, आपने अपना एप्लीकेशन सबमिट किया, आपने एडमिशन लिया, आपने फ़ीस पे की, आपने वीज़ा एप्लीकेशन की, आपने एम्बेसी फ़ीस पे की, आप एलिजिबल थे तो इस स्टेज तक पहुँचे ना, राइट? अगर एलिजिबल ना होते तो यूनिवर्सिटी एडमिशन ना देती, एम्बेसी आपको वीज़ा फाइल करने से रोक देती, आप वीज़ा के लिए एलिजिबल ना होते. द फैक्ट दैट यू मेड इट टू द वीज़ा स्टेज इज़ दैट you were capable or you were eligible enough to apply for that option. But उसके बाद अगर वीज़ा रिफ्यूज़ हुआ है, that had nothing to do with how good or how bad you were.
True.
That had everything to do with the fact कि वो उस country में वीज़ा ट्रेंड्स नहीं हैं. So either आप इसको रिफ्यूज़ल लगवाने के बाद समझ लें, या आपने काउंसलर की बात सुन के रिफ्यूज़ल से पहले ही एक वेल इन्फॉर्म्ड डिसीजन ले लें. It's up to you.
I hope the students have taken the note of these very such countries sir has discussed. And you're very right. अगर इतनी मेहनत की और फिर आखिर में वीज़ा रिजेक्ट हो गए, क्या फ़ायदा उसका फिर. So to conclude this, is there anything forward that we should look for Gohata Global? Any initiatives or expansions that you are doing?
We'll always take it slow, but we're not commercial people. We're not into money, although we do need money to survive. But we'll always be there to guide students. We'll always be there to invest unlimited amount of hours working alongside them. And I do want to say this to the students that always aim higher. I don't know. There's something in Pakistan, that refrains us from aiming high. It's all about survival in Pakistan. ये हो जाए, बच जाऊँ, गुजर जाऊँ, हो जाए, एक नौकरी मिल जाए और अच्छी सी लड़की मिल जाए और शादी हो जाए और रिटायरमेंट पे फंड्स मिल जाएं और मैं मर जाऊँ. Right? This country is mostly about survival. But I do believe कि this generation थोड़ा सा इसको काम करना पड़ेगा. We're called a third world country, and that is for a lot of reasons, and they do exist in Pakistan, I'll tell you that. And by the time that we don't get serious with ourselves, सिर्फ इतना करना, कोई मुल्क का भला नहीं करना, सिर्फ अपने साथ सिंसियर हो जाएं और अपने लिए जो डिसीजंस हैं वो ठीक ले लें तो हम ठीक हो जाएं.
Thank you for sharing such incredible insights today. We got to learn a lot about the educational world and consultancy itself. And to our listeners, thank you for joining and tuning in. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and stay updated for more exciting news.